Imagine for a moment that there is a ticking time bomb in existence, capable of destroying our way of life by throwing the Earth into a perpetual state of winter and pushing humanity to the brink of extinction. Imagine still that this bomb is on American soil and is visited by over 3 million tourists each year. Yellowstone National Park is not only one of the most alluring tourist destinations in America, it is also one of the most powerful supervolcanoes in existence. Today, I would like to inform you about the Yellowstone supervolcano, the terrible devastation it has caused in the past, what to expect in a future eruption, and explore the likelihood of this occurring. Let's begin by defining the term supervolcano. What exactly is the difference between a volcano and a supervolcano? The term supervolcano is used to describe any volcano capable of ejecting over 1,000 cubic kilometers of ash and debris in a single eruption, or roughly 50 times as powerful as the Krakatoa eruption that killed 40,000 people in 1883. Or as Joel Achenbach from National Geographic describes, volcanoes form mountains, supervolcanoes erase them. In 1870, a man named Gustavus Dome was part of an exploratory expedition into the Yellowstone portion of the Rocky Mountains. Upon cresting a ridge, he noticed that something was missing from a section of the Rockies: mountains. Now that we've explored the difference between a volcano and a supervolcano, let's take a look at what we could expect to see in a future super eruption. On this, experts seem to be divided. Some insist that Yellowstone has simply fizzled out and we will never see a super eruption again. Others, such as the U.S. Geological Survey, insist that if a super eruption were to occur today, the entire United States would be covered in a blanket of ash. Now, in order to get the best picture of what we could expect in a future eruption, it's best to carefully consider past eruptions. Historically, Yellowstone has had a super eruption roughly every 600,000 years, the last one being around 640,000 years ago. The initial explosion sent an ash cloud towering over 20 miles into the atmosphere. What would happen if this were to happen today? This question has been most recently addressed by the University of Bristol. Using state-of-the-art climate circulation models, they were able to determine the minimal ash blanket that would cover the United States in the event of a super eruption. The results were staggering. At a minimum, the ash blanket would extend beyond California all the way through the coast of Florida, killing half the flora and fauna. A smaller region from California through Missouri would be unable to sustain life, with full destruction of vegetation expected. Perhaps the most worrisome characteristic of a supervolcano is their ability to throw the Earth into a volcanic winter. Around 74,000 years ago, a supervolcano named Toba reduced the human population to a few thousand when it created a volcanic winter. Now that we know what to expect in the event of a super eruption, let's carefully consider how likely such a future eruption is. Luckily, most experts believe this is extremely unlikely for us to see a future eruption anytime soon. Park officials insist that Yellowstone is showing no signs of a super eruption. They cite geological probes scattered throughout the park, hidden in concrete monuments, that constantly measure seismic activity, soil temperature, and pH levels. Despite reassurances from officials, Yellowstone remains quite active. In the 70s, researchers discovered that the floor of the park had risen over 3 feet in a few decades since they had begun measuring. Recently, researchers have discovered that the magma plume hidden beneath Yellowstone is over twice the size they had previously anticipated, or roughly the same size it was during the last super eruption. In last March, Yellowstone experienced a 4.8 magnitude earthquake, the largest in the park in over 34 years. And later that July, a section of road running through Yellowstone had to be shut down when the ground temperature became so hot the road began to boil. We have defined the term supervolcano. we have carefully explored what to expect in the event of a future super eruption. And despite reassurances from the officials, Yellowstone remains quite active. Though nobody knows when or where Yellowstone may erupt, now we know what to expect, and knowing is half the battle.